Something tells me this is the last time you're ever gonna communicate with Iran. Hello? Richie? I can hear something from far, far away.
That was just the Iranian national anthem that I was playing.
Really? Which one?
I know there's an old one and the New Republic one, right?
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
Neither, actually.
Oh, neither?
Yeah.
How come?
Your president is speaking at the UN. Did you know that?
Right now, yeah. About ISIL, right?
Yeah. Alright.
We can discuss that. No, I'm just kidding. I have nothing to say about that.
No, I like the guy. I mean, if I was an American, I'd probably be a Democrat.
Because why?
I
just don't like the idea of national parties. Do you guys have national parties over there?
No, not in the sense that
political
you have.
Parties.
Iran is kind of an unofficial tyranny, so national parties don't really mean anything.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah, we have political parties over here, and people just act like each party is so much different from the other that they can't sit in a room next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, you broken system for sure.
All right.
But I would change places. I would change places with you anytime you want.
You should move here. Why? Can you legally move here? Well, you can, right? You have a.
It'd be very difficult. It would be very difficult. And it would be very expensive. I don't have enough money for that.
Well,
so.
Can't you get a work grant or a scholarship to go to school here and then disappear forever over here?
The work grant is very difficult for Iranians, and the scholarship. Many of my friends live in the U.S. with the scholarship, but I wasn't very successful at school, so it would be hard too.
Right. Yeah. Everything starts with money, and that's how people get over here.
Yeah. But I hope to move there someday. I don't know, maybe down the road in a couple of years, hopefully.
That'd be nice. You care for any states or just whatever?
I like Oregon for some reason. I don't know why, but I like Oregon.
It's kind of near me. That's north of me a little bit.
Where are you?
California. So Oregon's above me.
Yeah.
The northwest.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like Oregon mainly because I'm a fan of the Oregon Ducks. I like the uniforms.
Oregon Ducks. Is it the yellow and green one?
Yeah, Nike.
Right. Really?
Another point I'd like to make about Cincinnati is that they're using Joey Votto as the leadoff hitter. I mean, that's interesting.
I actually was a big supporter or dreamer of that because I was all like, hey, if you let me manage for one day here, Joey, I'm gonna, because I've always envisioned him as a leadoff hitter in real life. You know, the real life Reds fans, they get on him because he apparently doesn't hit enough home runs to be a number 3 hitter, they say. But I like that in him, you know, that he's a patient hitter. He gets on base, and that's how you produce runs. You just don't have to hit the 3-run home run all the time, which he is doing, by the way. But in-game rating, I think he does have the eye and discipline to hit in the leadoff position. They don't have much either, so I mean, might as well.
He probably has the best eye in the league. The problem is he also has a very good bat, and he can hit home runs.
Right.
And because people value the number 3 hitter on a lineup usually more than that leadoff hitter, they kind of expect him to play that role and get a lot of RBIs. But he would be a perfect leadoff hitter as well. I mean, his OBP is 391 right now, and last year was 401.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not playing on a better team. And I mean that. All right, let's just jump on into the AL.
All right.
We'll start with the East, AL East, and let's talk the Red Sox, since me, Charles, or Shane haven't really talked about them all year, because naturally, I mean, due to their prior GM, we just haven't found much to talk about them. But thankfully, with the new GM Ben here, I think he's done a lot of things that worth talking about. Let's take a look at some of the trades that he's made.
Yeah, he got Scherzer.
Scherzer, yeah.
shipped Konerko to Washington in exchange for Zimmerman and Chen and Stammen, and then kind of used Zimmerman to get Scherzer. I think
Right.
it was a good. I think it was a good trade for him. I mean, as we talked about yesterday, Zimmerman kind of a flight risk because he's been injured for a long time, but Scherzer has proven himself this season, and I think that's a good move, especially after they lost Lester to the trade. They needed someone to lead that rotation, and I think Scherzer is the guy.
Right, and based on what we've said yesterday, looking at what Ben gave up to get Zimmerman, and then flipping Zimmerman to get Scherzer, I think those two differences are huge. Look at what he's gave up to get Zimmerman. He only gave up Stammen, Matt Perk, and a reliever, Daniel Rosenbaum. It's not a substantial package, but he's managed to turn that around into a Max Scherzer. I think that either speaks very impressively of his negotiating power, or doesn't speak that much of a Charles return here, right?
Yeah, and I think he basically used a part of that Konerko. You can say he kind of traded Paul Konerko for Max Scherzer and Matt Carpenter. I mean, that if you look at the two trades next to each other, that's kind of what happened. I mean, when he traded Konerko, he got Zimmerman and Chen and Stammen, and he used Zimmerman and Chen as the central pieces to get Scherzer and Carpenter. I think that's as you said, that speaks to his negotiating powers. That's a good trade for him.
Yeah, man. I mean, great for him, bad for Charles. I'm sorry. And then another starting pitcher that he got was Josh Johnson from the O's, and we rarely see intra-divisional trades like this, especially in the AL East. But I know Josh Johnson has been a starting pitcher that Joe has been trying to peddle around, especially with the way his season is going. But Josh Johnson, a bona fide ace. Given his salary, though, it's not. He's owed about $16 million the next 3 years. Certainly require a team that does have the flexible payroll to have him, but a really good pitcher to have indeed.
Yeah, if he can keep his rating where they are right now and doesn't go, the ratings, if the ratings don't go down, he's gonna be. I don't think the money is a problem for the Red Sox right now.
Oh no, yeah.
I mean, they are the Red Sox, but.
Right.
The ratings are good. The stats they're not bad. I can't say they're perfect for his ratings. I mean, but his ERA is 3.69. I mean, he has pitched 2 good games for Boston. In his 2 games, his ERA is 1.80. So I think again, and he didn't really give up a lot to get Johnson again. I mean,
no, yeah, I think it was mostly just eating his salary.
Yeah, I think that was the pitch. I mean, he looking at the trade. Let me see what he gave up. He gave up Matt Barnes, who I don't really see turning into a major league pitcher. Gave the centerpiece of that deal is basically Daniel Nava.
Daniel Nava, yeah, he's a.
And he's been struggling. I mean, probably because of that contact rating. And he's 31 years old, so it's not like he gave up a prospect or anything. Johnson, again, that's a good trade.
Yeah, so 2 very substantial trades for Red Sox, and they're just 8 games back. They have all the firepower in the world to continue competing, and I do think they're going to make themselves relevant in the stretch run in this division.
This season, I think it'd be difficult, but well, anything is possible. They are not completely out. I mean, they're 6 games out of the wild card race. I wouldn't count them out completely, but it'd be a challenge, I think.
Why not? Why is Toronto just too good, do you think?
Yeah, Toronto has been consistent. They consistently have a good record in the last 10 games, and right now they are 6-4. I don't really remember any bad run for Toronto, any long losing streak for them. So it'd be tough.
Well, yeah, let's talk Toronto then, since let's see what they've been doing or anything at all just to even stay atop of the division. Is this just another case of a good team being handed down, and they're kind of taking that and running with it?
Yeah, I don't remember Toronto making any deadline moves.
Yeah, and that's really disappointing because basically me, Charles, and Shane have been bringing up all season long was that they needed to improve their pitching staff, especially their rotation, which right now is still the worst in the AL at 5.26 ERA. and I was really hoping for them to improve that, and the GM himself told me that he will, and it turns out that nothing was done, and that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I think they are a kind of a Colorado version in.
Right. Yeah, I told him that similarity as well. I can see that.
But I think the season has turned out better for him than it has for you. But you're right. I mean, the starter ERA is dead last in the American League. It's 5.25 right now, which is disappointing. I'm a big fan of Ari Dickey, but he needs some help. I mean, he has gotten those wins. The pitching staff gets great support from hitters. They are.
Yeah, but just if they lose a starter right now, just any of those 5 ERA starter, what can they possibly turn to?
Yeah, I'm looking at their. Yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to replace someone's 5 ERA, right? Just bring any kid up from AAA, and they'll give you that 5 ERA.
Yeah, and that's something else. If you have guys who are giving you bad outings every night, why not try some of the younger guys? I mean, why not just as an experience, as an experiment, just bring up someone from AAA? Maybe they work out better. I mean,
I don't think they have any. I'm looking at it right now. Everyone is.
There is this Brad Lincoln who who is 211.
211 ERA.
Yeah, if I was the GM of the Toronto, I would bring him up for a couple of games at least to try him out.
Yeah, like I said, just.
I mean, look at Edwin Jackson. He's 5.8. That kind of kills me. He is 5.08, 5.08 in the ERA, 10 and 5 in decisions. That's crazy. How good is that offense? I mean,
yeah, and Edwin Jackson was a off-season move that he's made, kind of to stabilize that rotation, and as well as AJ Burnett. Those were the 2 moves that I remember him making. I do applaud him for that. Kind of expected more to be done here. So I wouldn't be too sad if they dropped out of the lead here because Boston takes over or something. Let's see what happens to them, I guess. Let's go to the second team in that division. I really like this division. Pretty much everyone's active, right? Sy?
Well, give or take. I mean,
give or take.
I don't see Matt a lot, but his team has been doing pretty well, I think.
I think it's because he's lost his favorite player, Mason Williams, who's on a crazy season, by the way. Well, before he went down.
Yeah, 324. That's amazing.
Yeah, and his rotation too, 13th in the league. That's kind of the common trend in this division. It looks like. Yeah, he was talking about acquiring an arm too the last time that we interviewed him, and I don't think that he did because Pineda went down.
And he lost Sabathia again. I mean, when you were talking to him, I guess Sabathia was coming back from injury.
That was funny. The night that we've talked about Sabathia was the same night that he was going to come off the injury, and Matt was just joking, hey, we're not going to rehab him. We're going to stick him in there. And I don't think he recovered. He's out for the season now, basically, right? 2 months.
Yes. Yeah. So 2004, just 4 games, and I don't know when his last export was because Sabathia is still on the rotation. And David Phelps coming up from AAA hasn't done very well. 7.06 ERA, 2 losses. I think he's been kind of unlucky, really, with his rotation, outside of Hashimoto, of course, who's been
Hashimoto's doing it around
pretty well. Yeah, he's been doing pretty well. Although his last game, what I see is he lost to Boston.
Yeah, and I think the inaction of these 2 top teams, it just emphasizes of the importance and significance of what Boston did to acquire Scherzer, because they made the move and they've put themselves ahead in that department. So by all means, you snooze, you lose, right?
Yeah, I think if Ben was the GM of the Red Sox on starting games, they would now be leading the AL East. His predecessor didn't really do much for his team, but he has really turned it around. I think he might have a shot. I mean, if Toronto and New York's rotation continue to do poorly, we may see a turnaround in the division.
Right. So let's keep an eye on this division. And then in 4th place is the Rays. I assume, or I understand, they're giving up now. just by default of trading David Price, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the David Price deal kind of a sign that they are looking looking to the future, and they are thinking about next season.
Yeah, and that's a shame because we've kind of pegged them to be the front runner before the season with their rotation, and they're a good all around team, really. They're not too lopsided in one direction or the other.
Yeah, and he's been pretty active,
Uh-huh.
all things considered. So it's sad to see him not be in the race late in the season.
Yeah, and we talked about Anthony Rendon yesterday, where in the deal that he got for David Price. With Longoria, where do you see Rendon fitting in his lineup next season or this season?
Well, I don't know about this season. I don't think it matters this season, but
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he's thinking about trading Longoria at some point.
Oh, that'll be a
He hasn't,
big move, yeah.
Yeah. Although his batting average is disappointing.
Hey, do me a favor and look at Longoria's contract. That is really funny. There's like a
Wow.
team option out of nowhere, and then back to a regular. What is that? A 9? Oh my god.
How does that even work?
I have no
takes a break for the
Yeah.
He takes a break for the 21 season and then comes back in 22.
I'm going on vacation, and I assume you still have a job for me next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Someone has got to look into that. I mean, that is very weird.
Hey, but if we get to that point, then yeah.
For those of us who are not looking at the contract, he has a team option for the 2021 season, and then he has a guaranteed contract for 2022. So that's pretty weird.
Yeah. So if we get to that point, then yeah, we can bring it up again. 8 years down the road.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then the last team, the O's, kind of the same story with them. Decent in, well, they're actually not decent in hitting. They are, except in the home runs category, they're not doing really well in batting average and OBP.
Yeah, that's kind of they have kind of the same situation Philadelphia has in NL East. Not really good in any category but home runs. I mean, they have, as with Philadelphia, they have relied on their power hitting to kind of win games, and it hasn't worked for them.
Yeah, and I think it's just Joe's MO or formula to construct his team this way, but as we've seen so far, I don't think it's necessarily working.
I think it goes to show that there's such a thing as too much American League play. I mean, relying too much on your power.
Is that why you tend to prefer the NL more? Because the AL, they have the DH, so most teams tend to put their money toward an extra hitter instead of solidifying their pitching. Is that your reason?
Yeah, I mean, look at Baltimore. They have 149 home runs, but their defensive efficiency is awful. Their ERA is awful, so they haven't put any focus on their defense, basically, and come back to hunt them. I mean, Baltimore, this is a team that has some very good talent, but it won't be a contender in September.
Yeah, and I'm just glad to see Jonathan Scope up, their #1 prospect. He's not hitting, but I mean, anything is better than Ugla at second base, which is half the reason why the O's are last in defense, but.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Scoop coming up would improve their defense. He's great second baseman. And I think the hitting part will change. I think he will improve. That's what happens with hitters when they come up sometimes. But I think looking at his rating, his batting average is not going to stay below 200. It's going to come up. It's going to go up for sure.
Yeah, hitting's contagious. He'll catch something from Chris Davis, who's having a ridiculous season. 25 home runs. Is he using what is that called? What is that called for treatment of ADHD?
Sorry?
What is that medicine called for ADHD that he was busted for in real life? Never mind.
All right, I can't remember it either.
It was an amphetamine, but Adderall.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all in Adderall. I don't know. Yeah. But let's not go there.
That's possible, yeah.
Let's not go. Let's move to the AL Central, starting with the Tigers. Tigers, did they just acquire a new second baseman? And that's the first thing I look at whenever looking at the Tigers.
Let me see.
Ivan De Jesus Jr. Is that? I don't think he was in their organization, right?
I don't see any trades they made. Let me see.
Because where did this guy come? Or maybe this is a minor league signing. Oh, got claimed.
Got claimed. Yeah. From Pittsburgh has been waiving a lot of players.
Yeah, I think I noticed Pittsburgh waiving their prospect Jameson Taillon at one point, but they got lucky.
Yeah, just recently, I think I was looking at the transaction log. Last night, San Francisco, or was it? Yes, last night San Francisco got 3 players off waivers, all of them from Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Trey is basically leaving off what Pirates don't want anymore.
Well, Ivan De Jesus Jr. We've been talking, or at least I've been ragging on Steve about getting a second baseman all season, and it looks like he's found a keeper. I think.
Yeah.
Well, at least in the first 16 games.
Yeah, good defense.
Yeah.
Good defense. His offensive stats are great. I mean, what else? And relatively young. What else do you want?
Yeah, and I think they're a complete team now with that signing. But yeah, we didn't know what to expect from them after losing Max Scherzer in the offseason, but it seems like their pitching is just fine. Second in the league without Max Scherzer, their starting pitching.
Yeah, I mean, Verlander and Pfister and Porcello, they've been pretty good. Their offense has been pretty good too. I mean, as I said, I expected them to have a better record at this point.
Especially with Miguel Cabrera back, that they're
better. But they're doing fine, and Cabrera. I mean, he has spent just 1 game in rehab and then came back and is hitting 316 with 28 RBIs in just 30 games. That's what you'd expect from him.
Yeah, didn't need to rehab him for that 1 game.
Yeah,
could be.
That was crucial.
Well, yeah, it looks like they're gonna be holding on the rest of the way. But I think if Jess has his eyes on the top spot here, 'cause Jess is just 3.5 game backs with his White Sox.
I said you have to applaud Jess on what he's doing. I mean, he has caused Detroit to be nervous about that lead. I mean, they haven't. I don't remember Chicago being like 1 game behind them, but they haven't really ever been too far to be out of the picture. Jess is continuously trying to improve his team. I think, although he always talks about how he wants to build a team for the future, for the next couple of years, but I think he still has a chance.
Yeah, the future is now for him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about his move.
Yeah, he got Nick Markakis on the deadline day from the O's for couple minor leaguers. Again, for the O's, it was mostly a payroll move in shipping off Markakis. A huge bat for Jazz here, along with Kendrick Morales, who they also got from the Rays. So 2 very potent bat for his lineup.
Yeah, and they didn't really give up any crucial parts of the future. I mean, in that I'm looking at the Markakis deal, and neither of the 2 players I really see being an important part of a contending team. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good deal. Although Markakis does have an expensive contract for the season, but the season is almost over, and the next year is a team option.
Next year, which probably won't be picked up. Maybe.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to pay $17 million if you ask me for any player, but Markakis more than anyone.
Right. And then the guy that he replaces, which I've noticed, I've just picked up on last night, was Alex Rios, which Jess surprisingly waived him, and he passed through.
Really?
Yeah. He's in AAA now. He passed through waivers, and he's in AAA.
No one picked
Alex Rios.
No one picked him up?
That is really surprising. And last year, Alex Rios hit 20 home runs, 295 average. So that is really surprising to me. That's someone nice to have in his back pocket as an insurance plan, but he kind of took a risk there, and it didn't bite him in the butt.
I think it was probably because of the contract.
Yeah, 12.5 million.
He's a decent player, but is not worth 12.5 million, at least in my mind.
Well, you gotta remember, there's only 2 months left, so you're not thinking that it's like 4 or 5 million. So
but I still think people look at the number and they don't really think about how much is left in the season, at least on first glance, and they kind of they're taken back by the number.
So yeah, Jess has dramatically improved his team in the last 2 weeks, and of course the last 3-4 months. So I very much expect him to continue being relevant.
In retrospect, I think that Chris Sale deal makes a lot of sense now. I mean, look at Colton Wong's performance. He's been brilliant.
Right. He's our MVP, I think. He does it all.
Yeah. Walker is improving. I would expect Trevor Rosenthal to be much better next season. So that was a good deal.
Right. And then let's kind of briskly move on and take a look at the last 3 teams. Cleveland,
Right.
Max, he hasn't made any trade, I don't think, because he was on vacation, right?
Let's see. Mac? No, I don't see any trades.
Yeah, as is his team. Oh, he did sign ARod. That.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's,
A 4 defensive rating at first base.
that is just disgraceful.
Well, that's still better than Michael Young, I think. No, I'm just kidding. Actually,
Yeah.
Michael Young's better.
Maybe he's trying to kind of copy what Cincinnati is trying to do.
Yeah, Max has the bats. His bullpen's great. His starting pitching is now back to a 5-man staff. Is decent, so they'll stay in the thick of it, I think. But unless they have like the D-backs, a 10-11 game winning streak, they probably won't get over the top.
Yeah, they are on a 3-game winning streak, so you never know. Maybe.
Yeah, go ARod. And then KC, Kansas City. Have they traded James Shields? That was the one thing that I was looking for all season from James Shields.
Oh yeah, he's in Milwaukee.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that.
He was traded along with Aaron Santana for Reynel Rosario, Johnny Helwig, and Jet Bradley. That was under the radar. I never noticed the trade.
And Rosario, he changed that he got from me, so I do recognize Rosario. I think he'll turn into a decent bat in the future. Yeah,
so, those are great numbers. He's playing pretty well. And Johnny Helwig, I think I like him. I think he's a very good pickup. I mean, the velocity of his pitch is amazing, 96, 98. I think he's going to be brought up next season probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good flipping by Luke to turn around to find some kind of positivity in a disappointing season, I guess. Yeah,
I personally didn't think he could flip James Shields, but kudos to him. That's a good move.
He also flipped Jason Vargas, another part of his rotation, to Noah for Ryan Flaherty and $1 million in cash. So Flaherty is making just the minimum. He'll be some kind of contributor in the future for Luke. So decent move.
Yeah, Flaherty is someone who does a little bit of everything. He's not great at anything really, but he's also not very bad at anything. I mean, most of his ratings are average. He's on offense or defense, so that's good. I mean, for a reliever, that's a good deal.
And then wow, Billy Butler as well. We're just discovering these moves as we go on.
Yeah, I actually.
You do know that. Sorry.
I noticed the Billy Butler move last night. That's an interesting move as well.
Yeah, that was necessary though. That was necessary after Goldschmidt. They had to do that, and I'm glad to see that they did trade Billy Butler. Yeah,
and when we get to Oakland, we probably will talk about Billy Butler more. I think that was a trade that kind of went unnoticed. I mean,
yeah,
Billy Butler.
Sonny Gray is decent. He can.
Yeah, he's not I guess the real life Sonny Gray in this league, but he's pretty good. He has pretty good prospects. He's not pitching very well this season. He didn't for Oakland at least, but it's interesting to wait and see what he's going to turn into.
Yeah, and then so great moves from Luke. I think he hit all the checkpoints that I was hoping they were, or I was expecting for them to do. So great for Luke. The Twins, the new GM Jay, he's kind of in a turn it around process. I don't think they've made any moves in July. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, they were. Josh Willingham was a name he's thrown out, but I don't think anyone was biting. And then, yeah, I guess it's a wait and see situation for Jay.
Yeah, I mean they have the worst record in the whole league, and it was a disappointing season for Minnesota. but they have some young talent, and Trade is coming up, will be coming up. So who knows? Maybe next season.
Right, and
They'll turn it around.
Jay's a really good active GM. I played with him before, so I expect the Twins will be in the spotlight more as we roll into the next season. So good future for that team.
Yeah, and they had a lot of problem with injuries. I mean, looking at the team, Justin Morneau just played 39 games this season, and he's injured right now. So if they get healthy, I mean, they can be a team that's at least a 500 team. I mean.
Yeah. AL West. Angels, they are still leading. They last I've looked and last I was in here, they addressed the one problem that I've been kind of bragging on them, which was the shortstop at the shortstop position. Which, as I'm looking now, is realizing that they're still back to the old problem of having Howie Kendrick playing shortstop when he doesn't
even have it. Yeah.
And look at his fielding stats. 63 games at shortstop, a negative 15.9 zone rating at the shortstop position.
Actually, in the new file, it's
God.
In the new file, it's negative 16.5.
That is just brilliant.
Yeah. Just 13 errors in 65 games.
It's just speechless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not what you want from him.
Why did you acquire Ruben Tejada then, Brett Jackson?
Can you look at his lineup? He doesn't have anyone on the bench.
Yeah, this is just what is going on, or except Chris Iannetta. Wait, Iannetta.
And he's cold.
Yeah. So he's running a 9-man rotation or bullpen? What is going on with his team?
Yeah. And the Angels started firing. I mean, they had two great months in April and May, but they kind of started to collapse in June. And
not surprisingly, if this is the product they're rolling out, then I'm not surprised. Ruben Tejada at first base. Why not put Ruben Tejada at shortstop and Howie Kendrick at first base?
That is what I'd like to know.
Jeez, man. Well, that's your first place team. So, sorry.
I don't think with this situation they are going to stay the first place team. I mean, there was a point when they were like 13 or 14 games ahead of Seattle, and now it's just 1.5.
Yeah, and then your second place team has no GM, so this is a great situation in an AL West right here.
Well, I guess we have to root for Ryan to win the division.
Oakland, the third place team, 3.5 games back. They're doing kind of better, focusing on that Billy Butler trade. He's hitting cleanup for them, DHing of course, and
they lost Sonny Gray, but they added Sean Markham, who didn't give up. And who didn't give up a run in his Oakland debut, so he's got to be happy about that.
I didn't realize Trey traded Sean Markham, but
it was I think a last-minute deal. It's right at the deadline, and Ryan has made some kind of smaller trades. I'm looking at he received Frank De Los Santos from St. Louis in exchange for Eric Sogard.
Right. De Los Santos, he's a decent reliever.
Yeah, he's got good stats, and I think I like teams that try to even make very tiny improvements to their team, so they have a better chance of reaching the playoffs. And I really hope Oakland will reach the playoffs. I like Oakland in real life, and Ryan is a really active GM, and I like his style of managing his team, so I'm rooting for them to win the AL West.
Yeah, and the team that we've expected to be ahead of Oakland, or at least in the offseason, was Texas, and now they're 10 games back, and it doesn't look like they're dealing with the injuries themselves.
Ian Kessler, Lance Berkman is out. Ian Kessler, Matt Harrison. So and Yu Darvish has been pretty disappointing.
Yeah, a 4 ERA. That's can't blame Texas for struggling here, because I know they're doing everything they can. Yeah,
although they are using, of course, looking at the ratings is not a surprise, but they are losing Adrian Beltre in an awkward place in the lineup.
Well, he's only hitting 7 home runs. Hitting 9th. So yeah, it's not. Wait, Angle Beltre? Wait, this is the second Beltre. Sorry. Wait, never mind. This is Angle Beltre. I think you got it wrong, Sy. Angle Beltre is another Beltre that they have in the outfield. And then
No, I'm
Adrian is
talking
on the
about
bench, actually. Or were you talking about Adrian or Angle?
No, I was talking about Adrian.
Oh, sorry.
How-
Adrian's on the bench. So.
Are you sure?
Adrian is not
Well-
starting right now. Mike Oat is starting because Adrian Beltre is hitting 227.
I don't know. In my file, it's Adrian on the lineup.
Oh, okay. I have the old one then.
So he made the move last night, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right now,
yeah.
in my lineup, Adrian Beltre is number 8 in the lineup, hitting just before Leonis Martin, and yeah, he's had a bad season, Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, and let's switch to the Astros, our last team in in the division here. Tanaka, which is I've been following, 2.85 ERA. That is, I think he's gonna get Rookie of the Year, or maybe some consideration for Cy Young as well.
Yeah,
Really
I think he's gonna
salvage the Astros season.
Does he really have a competition for the Cy Young?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Can't think of any AL from the Angels, maybe.
Well, he's leading the league in earned run average, although Felix Hernandez has 15 wins, so
Right.
that might factor in.
Yeah, and I've kind of expected or was hoping that Charles was gonna at least entertain offers for Tanaka during leading up to the deadline, but were they at all? Did you see? Did you hear, or was
No,
it?
I don't think so. He did. I think, if I remember correctly, he did mention about shopping him at the beginning of next season,
Right.
but no, not this season. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But Astros, although they are last in the division, looking at their last year's record, they have kind of improved. I mean,
Yeah,
at least they are not the worst team.
because of their very potent lineup, they are.
Yeah.
That's a lot of home runs. That's a lot of guys with double digits home run actually. Brett Wallace,
Yeah.
Singleton, Dominguez.
Yeah, and they have two guys with amazing stolen base numbers. Jonathan VR with 37,
Right.
and let me see. Yeah, and Jose Altuve with 20. So
Altuve. Wow.
yeah, and they have 96 stolen bases as a team. That's very good.
Yeah, I like that formula that they're using, the long ball and the stolen base. So,
Yeah, that's a good combination.
so if they've improved their pitching in the offseason here, they could have a chance to compete next season. So,
Yeah, and their defensive efficiency is really good. They are third in the American League. So if they can improve that bullpen has been disappointing. If they can improve that bullpen, I think they can be a surprising team next season.
I think that about wraps it up, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything more to add?
We did it in 6 or 7 tries. No, I think, well, we are coming down to the last 50 games of the season. The races are shaping up, and it's going to be fun. I hope everybody tries to kind of stay in it and remain active, although there won't be any more trades. And it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. There's going to be 8 playoffs teams, so we're going to expect 8 teams to be on chat every night, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I know. Getting closer to the playoffs, I will be trying to kind of be present during live stream.
I'm really excited for you, by the way, because especially with your team coming down the stretch, let's try to plan one more session with you, because I like to hear your thoughts closer to maybe the playoffs. See
Sure,
what your
that would be
team's
great.
doing. Right.
Sure, that'd be great.
All right. Thanks, Sy.
I'll be looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks.
Good luck.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Take care.